Well, hi, I'm Tom Ribbecke, and I'm here in the beautiful offices of Acoustic Guitar. They're gracious enough to ask me to sit down and talk a little bit about this guitar and a couple of my guitars here today. So, this is a 16-inch instrument. It's based on a model that I call the Phoenix. It is a halfling style instrument, meaning that its sound holes up here and the top is flatter on the bass than the treble. Something I've been working with for a number of years now. And this is a private shop product, one that comes out of my private shop, and it came for a client named Michael Soso out of Pittsburgh, who is a wonderful client and a guy with a big imagination. Has asked me to do a number of pick guards and harnesses for this one particular instrument. So it's interesting that we have three separate pick guards and a adapter as well to hold on a GK3 pickup. The materials in the guitar are very typically what I would work with. It's a Sitka spruce top. It is big leaf maple back and sides, which I really love for guitars. Very fast speed of transmission of sound. I think it's I love the texture available in that material acoustically. Koa binding, my typical 60 thousandths binding, which is proprietary. Book matched flamed back, once again, quarter sawn. All the binding you can see is still Koa. Of course, it would still be Koa. This is a bird's eye maple two-piece neck. Comes out of Calumet, Michigan. Same place for about 30 years. I've been getting the same material from a wonderful cutter there. And so a lot of this material I've been sitting on for 15 or 20 years. So when you're talking to your guitar makers and ask them about, materials, sometimes we've been carrying this stuff through marriage to marriage, situation to situation. And for many, many years, sitting on it like it's an egg or something. The back plate headstock is laminated with multiple veneers. Makes it much stronger, much more less energy wasteful. There's carbon fiber and two rods of carbon fiber under the fingerboard and a two-way adjustable truss rod, which allows it to be brought up or down. And position markers are for the post 50 set 3mm mother of pearl, because we can all see those, and it's a big deal these days for people. Tailpiece, of course, ebony. This particular pickup harness, I forgot to mention, from my great bandmate and incredible inlay artist, Larry Robinson, has also done a inlaid rose on the top of this flower at Dr. Soso's request, and did his usual. I'm so used to working with Larry. I see his work every day, and it stuns me, and it doesn't, because he's so spectacularly good at what he does, and he graces my work with a lot of his work. Other things that are different about this guitar, I think the most important thing is that the pick guards are all removable. And they have, there's three of them, and they're appointed in this handy carrying case. Here we have another pickguard, which has Robert Lee's new trapezoidal single coil pickups. These are single coil pickups, these other two, because the client really likes low noise pickups. Absolutely fascinated with these, and asked me to do this with a number of pickups, but these were the only ones I could actually fit into the space. It was a decision made after the guitar was designed. But this is a great sounding pickup. It's on a standard harness, the standard way I make these. Machine fittings and a jack, 3/32 inch jack to plug this in and out, which is what I do with all my instruments for the purpose of servicing them in the future. If you have a problem, you can send me the pick guard or something. But I like that modular concept. This was my biggest challenge. This is a Don Lace Alumitone 90 pickup, which, as you know, very famous for their low noise, innovative pickups, and very different kind of sounding, a lace sensor, but this required the building of an armature inside, all with ebony parts, so that it would have the right consistency and sound, but without touching any of the coils. This actually took me about a week and a half just to make this pick to enclose this, to figure out how to mount it so that it was successfully mounted. Very fascinating sound, very clear and very clean, and very lace characteristics. Same kind of picks. All these have two controls on them, a volume and a tone control. They're all passive. There's no powered pickups in this guitar, and I think there'll be more pickups in the future. And perhaps the last and most interesting thing is this GK3, which Michael also asked me to figure out a way to mount quickly and easily. And so I worked on this for a while. Did not want to drill any holes in the instrument, so I hope you can see this, and I'll do my best to illustrate this. Made a mechanical backplate on it with a little tension in it, so it just plugs into the tailpiece, locks on. And this, I modified the original base plate Roland provides, and this pickup goes very quickly into these detente holes in the bridge, and there it is, it's mounted. It's accurate, stays in the same place, and that should allow him, with multiple pickup combinations, to switch gears constantly. Like I say, he's very fascinated with all of this, and I think these are not the last pick guards this guitar has seen. Fortunately, my longtime helper, Stuart Day, is moving to the same town as Dr. Soso, and he'll be able to help him with the continuing project. very successful. I'm very pleased with how it all went, and he's been a delightful client to work with, and I thought this would be an interesting instrument to show. I removed the GK3, once again quietly, no screws or anything like that, which I really don't ever want to put in an instrument if I don't have to. So that's the story of this particular instrument, and I understand that some of these incredible players here are going to play this a little bit and have a sense of it. I'll show you the other one that I brought, and since we were coming down anyway, I brought an instrument from the Ribbecke Guitar Company, which is the production wing, which makes exclusively Halfling products, and Windsor, a few miles from my house, all with people that I've been worked with for years. And this is what we call the 14cc, and it's a mini archtop, very popular these days, full dress archtop, laminated sides, but the back and top are solid carved material, same Halfling style. Flatter on the bass side sound I hold up here because I don't have to worry about thinning this. I can actually have more access to making this work more for the guitar. This is also big leaf maple of similar quality, and the neck is bird's eye. It's a 5-piece neck, meaning that there's some veneers and a center lamb from the same area where I cut the material that comes from the private shop. Same cutter for 35 years now, and that's been a real blessing to have that consistency of material. It's an honor to work with somebody for that many years. You know, we take things for granted, but I never take that for granted. Ebony fittings, typical hex wheel bridges that I put on all these instruments now. They no longer use the knurled knobs. I hate that feeling of not being able to adjust a guitar, and nothing worse than having to grab a pair of pliers and ruin a guitar on a gig or something. Pickguard is mounted as well with machine screw fittings. This is a Kent Armstrong pickup that he makes for us. This instrument's a little more simple in its appointment with its koa binding without quite the same level of flame and craziness. A few less decorative lines, really designed to be a really club guitar for somebody who would be in an environment where, say, 175 might be great with the trap drums and whatever else is going on. We find the Halflings are actually very, very much about producing bass and mid-range. So if you strung these with a phosphor bronze string set, they would sound like a small steel string, and that is a pickup nightmare. But EMG has worked long and hard with us to create a rare earth pickup that's great for that particular kind of guitar. But I thought this was fascinating, and we've had so many requests for this since they travel well. And we are also now rebranding this, so the name Ribbecke now appears in the headstock. Everything, as I said, is ebony fittings, a little bit of a reduced size tailpiece. And still passive in electronics the way I like to make the instruments. I really don't like batteries in guitars if I can avoid it. And so that's pretty much the story of these guitars. 14cc, Phoenix, private shop, what we laughingly call a production shop, although it really is some makers making things very intensely in the same way. And so these are two flavors of the Halfling today, the Halfling family of instruments that I've been blessed to be able to show you. Scott Nygard, the editor of Acoustic Guitar, has agreed to play these instruments for us, and I'm honored to have him demonstrate them. He's a fine player, a very sensitive guy. He'll have some sense of what these guitars will do. I always think that guitars should surprise you a little bit, and they shouldn't be perfect. If they're perfect, they're like a Rhodes piano. They should you should learn something new every time you pick up a new guitar. That's my excitement with them. But anyway, Scott's going to play some of both these guitars for you, and thanks for watching and listening.
We'll play the Phoenix both acoustically and electrically for you. Here's the acoustic, no pickup.